Hello, and welcome to Blue Bob's Punk and Ska Album of the Month. This is the second installment of the Molotov Latte feature I did for the album The Principle that I featured back in March. This interview is I did with the former guitar player and bass player Steve Snyder, and this one was a really fun one. So I'm going to transition into that here in just a moment. I do apologize that it's taken me so long to compile this all together because I work a lot and have very little free time. But regardless, here it is now. And please make sure to like and subscribe and enjoy. How did you first get into music?
How did I first get into music? Well, I don't know. My dad was pretty into music, like old metal and stuff, and Rush. Rush was his favorite band, so that was my favorite band. Um, but yeah, I think I initially started. I was more into bass at first, and then kind of branched to guitar, and then back to bass. Just like what kids do. You know.
Tell me about your first band.
I think it was probably Mr. Neutron. I think, or yeah, I think first actual full band as in an actual band instead of like a bunch of kids being like we're gonna be in a band. uh, but yeah, we moved to Springfield at some point, and Carrie introduced me to Ed, and we started Mr. Neutron with Bart and who else was in that band? Like I said, my memory on this shit is like not good. So, but I think that was the lineup. I can't remember who the fuck was playing drums. I want to say it was Brian, but I'm not sure. It's all kind of like it's all foggy. I'm over 40 years old. I don't remember this shit, and I was drunk most of the time. So yeah.
We're all over 40 at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't really remember, what was it, your other two bands,
Social Stigma
and Surf Kuwait.
and Surf Kuwait were kind of a back-to-back thing. I think that was the second time we lived in Springfield. No, that was the first time because I remember the house. Okay, I'm not prepared either. So, yeah, that was just some dudes I met, and we started that. I think we were like I want to say like Epitaph #1 spot for like a couple of months or something with the album they did before I joined. But it's pretty good stuff. It's just like pop punk, 90s pop punk.
So tell me about the formation. Tell me about how Molotov Latte came into formation.
I don't know. I mean, initially, I think it was me, Ed, Teddy, and Matt. I want to say, right? Does that sound good? Is that correct?
That is the correct answer. If 10 points for you.
I believe I was drunk. But yeah, I think we just got together and wanted to. I know Ed was in the Generics before that, which is a great band. Like I love the shit out of that band. So once I heard that, I was pretty enthralled with the idea of being in a band with Ed for sure. But yeah, I think we just kind of all got together, and I had some songs, Ed had some songs. I mean, the entire time, Ed and I were pretty evenly split on songwriting. So like sometimes it was pretty organic, really. Like I would write music and then he would write words, or I would write. We traded off really well, and it worked really well. It wasn't until later on we both like started bringing just songs that we wrote music and lyrics to the table. At first it was just like, oh, you got a song? I got some lyrics. Let's fucking throw that shit together.
So tell me about your first demo, Beer and Coffee.
Oh, geez. I don't know what songs are on that.
All sorts of songs. That was a full track list there. I think there was like 18 tracks.
Yeah. I don't know. It's probably some older outtakes from a previous EP. I think we did an EP before that. I think.
Other way around.
Other way around.
Yeah. War in Our Veins was their second release.
Yeah. Okay, so we did the Beer and Coffee demo first, and then War in Our Veins.
Yeah.
War in Our Veins is a great fucking song. I think that was Ed's song. That was definitely Ed's song.
Well recorded EP too.
Yeah. Who recorded that shit? I can't remember.
I believe it was Teddy's brother.
Oh, it was Nick Cox, huh? Wow. Yeah, I remember that actually. Yeah, that was in that was when we lived in Rolla on fucking whatever street that was, behind the fucking Lee's Chicken or whatever.
19th Street.
19th Street. Yeah. See, you remember this shit. How do you remember where I lived?
Okay. So I'm currently a postman. I deliver at 319th Street all the time.
Really? Is that really why you remember? Might make me feel a little better.
Yeah. That's on City 10. I know this shit. But no, and the reason I knew who recorded that is because I just interviewed Ed the other day, and he talked about it.
Oh, yeah, I told you to send me that shit so I wouldn't look like a goddamn idiot.
Well, see, I'm gonna edit this shit out. This fun back and forth banter. This is exclusive Patreon shit right here. You gotta leave
this shit in. You gotta leave it in. Make it like a 2-hour fucking,
No. See. This is the exclusive Patreon footage. Gotta pay for this shit.
Outtakes. Take 85. Let's go.
You guys already had Brian for the War in the Veins EP, but right after you recorded that, Teddy left the band, and I soon joined in. Mm-hmm. Tell me about that, a bit about that era.
Well, Billy is the greatest bass player of all time, period, hands down. The most showy, just yeah. Was that pretty good?
That was pretty good. I was waiting for somebody to do that.
It was a little excessive at times, but we loved him.
So the next official release was the not No Time for Tuning. I just talked to fucking BA about that shit. No, it was Tune Deaf live at the Rockwell on Ed's birthday.
God. That fucking show, god damn it. I don't know. That show was so bad. I was so against that. I mean, I think you and I talked about it at the time. I remember this a lot, actually. It was just so bad, and we really were so out of tune. Like it was just a train wreck, and it sucked because I felt like it was a missed opportunity at the time. Like we had this venue record us and give us a copy of it, and it was like, fuck, it sounds so good, but it doesn't. But it doesn't sound good. But I don't know. I was pretty frustrated that show for sure. And that's just how it goes sometimes, like
It wasn't too terribly bad. It wasn't too. See, you guys had a couple.
I listened to it pretty, I don't know, a couple of years ago, and I was like, fuck this. I turned it off. And I think when I listened to it, I didn't even remember that. And then the memories just came back, and I was like, God damn it, that show was just a mess. And it sucked because we did so well at that show. We all played really well. It just sounds like shit because nothing's in tune.
But we did get it in tune.
I was probably drunk, as I usually was. And I don't know. It might have just been my fault, But it's bad. It's bad.
Yeah. So then
what are your memories of that show? You can cut this shit out later. So
what are my memories of that show?
Do you feel the same way about that show as I do?
Okay, so you guys weren't that out of tune, right? Your guitar was tuned a little bit lower, but you guys were in your guys' G string was in tune. It's just that everything else wasn't.
Huh. Okay.
Right. So every time you guys were focused on that area, it didn't sound that bad. And then you guys finally did get in tune, and they fucking hit stop on the recording.
Really?
Yeah. Right in the middle. Right. Because you know how when you guys would go to tune, me and fucking Brian would just go off and do our own shit.
Yeah.
We were in the middle of this.
I remember a lot of that in that show. Yeah.
Yeah. We're in the middle of this really cool jazz breakdown, and the dude hit stop. Right. Because he come in with this fucking really fast punk beat, and I went, and then he'd like,
yeah, exactly like that. Yeah.
Right. And dude, yeah, then the dude hit stop, and then you guys got all tuned, and he never hit record again. So all we have is the out of tune part recorded. Huh. So weird. Whatever. It was I always had fun.
Well, yeah. I mean, it was always fucking fun for sure.
Today I felt so great about the smallest thing, until cold society turned and slapped me in the face.
Then we recorded the album The Principle, right? Tell me a little bit about what you remember of that whole thing going down.
Oh, man. Those sessions with Lou were pretty fucking awesome. Like, that was when I was super political, and I still am, but I was young and very political and super socialist, and Lou was just fucking spot on with that shit. He had so much wisdom to give me, and he gave me the best compliment I've ever had as a musician. He told me that we were the best punk band that Springfield had ever seen up to that point, that he had ever seen recorded. And he told me that. I think we were alone when he told me that. I kind of hung out with him a little bit after sessions quite a bit. He was a cool old dude. R.I.P. for sure. He was fucking awesome. He was a good dude. But yeah, my brother was there for that. I think he was in the Jack-Ons at the time, which is a lot of good memories. I don't know, some of our favorite shows around that time, that was I always looked forward to playing with them. Just not just because it was my brother's band, because it was all of our friends in a band with my brother, and it was just funny, And he literally started the band just to play shows with us. So
yeah, that's totally true. That's totally true.
It's a good time.
So, what was your funnest show of that time frame?
Oh man, hands down, it's got to be that Necromantics fiasco. That I think it was like a punk against racism. It was something against something. Is that what it was? What was that show called? It was like an annual festival in like fucking. Wait, where were we?
We were in Lafayette, Arkansas.
Was it?
I'm pretty sure we were in Arkansas.
It was.
No, we were in Arkansas. I'm just not sure.
It was
where.
like the second or third of this little festival they had, and it was like super political. So I was like right in my element at that point in time, you know, and like there were pamphlets everywhere. So I was pretty happy to be there. Yeah, the Necromantics. Jesus. Fucking. I think that whole experience made me fucking hate psychobilly forever. Like I think it hands down maybe just not be able to stand those fucking bands. And but they were just assholes. Like, and they took over their little fucking pompadour preparation room, and like none of the bands could go back there and drink beer. We wanted to go back there and hang out with them, and they had this huge ass fucking idiot who's just like, you know, like being a total douchebag. He's like, no, they're preparing for the show, you can't come in. So we heckled the fuck out of him on stage. Every single band, we got every band to just get on there and heckle the shit out of him. And by the time they got up there to play, they weren't very fucking happy. I think they ended the set early, didn't they? Like they just like stopped playing and they're like, we're done. Like after like 6 songs or something. That was great. That was a good experience.
Yeah.
That's like some grassroots shit. You know, we all got together and we told all the bands about it, and everybody was like, fuck those guys, you know? Like everybody fucking hated that shit. You know, that's everything that we were against as bands. And we came together and fucking gave them that, you know? That's what it's about. That's what punk rock's about. I'm gonna get a beer.
So then the next iteration of Molotov Latte came around, featuring Tony and Sarah. Tell us a bit about that time frame.
That was a lot of fun. Like they brought a lot of energy to the band, a lot of rawness. I really appreciated that time, definitely. It was different. It was kind of like a learning curve for me. I hadn't really like I don't know how to explain that very well. Just being in like, because they came from a 5-finger discount, you know, right? Isn't it? Yeah. But and that band was awesome. We played a lot of shows with them, and we had a lot of respect for them. But it just added this like raw element to it that wasn't really there with you and Brian per se. So it was interesting. I loved it, but it was kind of like a different band, you know, at that point. And that's always kind of how I felt about it. It was just like, we should I think I even suggested at the time, I was like, we should just be a different band, you know, because it's just not the same. And we could play some Molotov Latte songs, you know, and go from there. But for some reason, we just kept the band name. Probably because it's a cool band name. I don't know.
It is. One of the first things that somebody commented on as soon as I posted it up was that they still think that this is the best band name that ever came about.
Yeah. No, I think I came up with it, if I remember right, but I think it was like a joke I can't remember the exact circumstances. I think it just came to the top of my head, and I was like, Molotov Latte, throw in a coffee bomb or something. And it just, and I was like, oh, that actually is a good band name.
And it is.
Have you heard the prophecy? The future's bright for you and me. Take a number, sit right down, facing forward, don't look around.
And then followed by yet another iteration of Molotov Latte. We recorded the 5-pack demo. Tell me a bit about that time frame.
That was also a lot of fun. Like, I wanted to, when I moved back from Oregon, because I kind of disappeared for a bit, and I think they played as Molotov Latte for a little while. After that, it was just Ed, Sarah, and Tony, and then I think they disbanded, or maybe they kept going. No, they disbanded at some point, but I think they played for a while without me, and I was like, okay, and I moved to Oregon for like a year, and then when I got back, I was like, oh, I want to play music again. I had played music really, but just screw around with playing guitar with other guitarists in Eugene, and that was all I was doing. So when I got back, I was like, oh, we should do this again or whatever. And somehow I ran into Dalton. I can't remember the circumstances around that either. I can't even remember where the fuck I met Dalton. I think he used to go to Molotov Latte shows, I'm pretty sure, back in the day, but he was like a little kid, and I worked with him at Bruco for sure, but I didn't reunite with him at Bruco. See, like I said, jogging my memory, I have no idea like the events that transpired that came to that point. But eventually, we got together. I think I was playing with Dalton, and I think he was in Sunshine Kings first, and yeah, I'm pretty sure we had Sunshine Kings first, and then he wanted to do Molotov Latte again, and then I got with Ed about that, and he was like, I think it was like a reluctant okay or something, and we got together, and their chemistry was awesome. Like, immediately they were like, best friends, and that was cool. That was really cool. And but I was playing bass. I wanted to play bass for it. I wanted to play bass and sing. Yeah. So yeah, definitely Sunshine Kings came first, because I couldn't sing and play until I did Sunshine Kings. So I had a few songs in Sunshine Kings, and was kind of messing around with Dalton and Aaron for that project. And yeah, we got back together and did that. And we did that funny ass Save the Children video, which is pretty awesome. Sorry, am I rambling?
No, it's fine. It's fine.
I'm just trying to get square away the process, like the organization of events, like timeline wise. But yeah, they hit it off really well, and I kind of was more into Sunshine Kings at that point. So I think eventually I was just like, I don't want to do this. And then Amber started on bass, and that was the new Molotov Latte. And they were fucking awesome. Like, I think we played shows together. I believe we played 3 or 4 shows together.
Tell me a little bit more about the Sunshine Kings.
That was a big part of my life whenever I started doing it. That was sort of my first venture into like singer songwriting. Like I had the luxury of having Aaron and Eric to play with, and I wanted a simple 3-piece, and they were completely on board, and they made all the songs better. I just wrote the songs, wrote guitar and lyrics, and brought it to the table, and they made it better, you know. And that's all I wanted, you know. Yeah, that was a fucking great time. Like, we came out with a solid album and an EP and some other stuff. Played a shitload of shows. We played so many fucking shows. I think I played more shows with Sunshine Kings just in like a year than I did any other band I was ever in, like all together. So it was just like shows all the time. It was great.
So, and then you went on to form a band called Kill Crow.
No, I didn't form that band. That band was another. It was kind of another like social stigma kind of situation. I kind of stepped in. I think before me, Robert Bailey was the bass player, and they sort of had an exodus of a few members, and we were sort of like the new version of Kill Crows or whatever. And that was a lot of fun too. Also played a shitload of shows with them. And I think I met them through Dalton, actually. Dalton introduced me to Kill Crows. And I hate him for that. I'm just kidding. No, that was a great time. It was.
Time and Material. Tell me a bit about this project.
Oh, great project. I kind of had a falling out recently just playing music in general, which is, you know, sad. I just don't have time for it. But they're fucking amazing. Like, I think they're doing a project now called Shape Eater and what's the other one? Part-Time Travelers. Yeah. But they're amazing. It basically, we were like a like kind of like a folk trio. I play bass for them. It was just well, not trio. Yeah, 4 people. Sorry.
Quartet.
I know the fucking word for it. Jesus, Billy.
Yeah, that pisses my wife off really bad when I do shit like that. I can't help it.
It was a quartet. I don't know. When I think of quartet, it's like I think of like some old guys singing some
Barbershop shit
or something. Yeah.
Straw hats and fucking pinstripe suits.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. But yeah, that was also a very fun project. It's kind of like on hiatus for me, but I'll probably end up playing with them again in the future whenever I have time to do it. It's kind of just like an open door kind of situation where they're like, "Oh, take care of your shit. We'll play later," you know. So.
Tell me about your newfound hobby of game systems.
Oh, game systems. Oh, is this going on there too?
Oh yeah, this is fascinating shit, man. People need to know.
You know,
we're not interested in your fucking chefness. We want to know about the game.
Chefness. Yeah, fucking modern consoles. That's what I love to do. Hopefully I can make that a job someday. But it's kind of a vanishing art sort of situation, you know, like everybody can, like, I actually played Luna's Amazon's game streaming service the other day, and I was like, this is the fucking future. Like, all this hardware that we need right now, once they tweak this shit, like, all this is over. You know, we're not going to need all this stuff anymore. I mean, which we're already kind of on our way to that, you know, with Game Pass and shit like that. But I don't know. It's pretty fucking cool. But I like the original hardware, you know, for games like you do, you know. So it's like, what can I make this PS1 do? You know, I overclocked one just for the hell of it. That was pretty funny. I did like a full like tech analysis of like how much faster it was. I think I got it like almost 2 seconds faster in load times, which is pretty fucking impressive, you know, for a CD-ROM system, you know. But I dig the old hardware. Original hardware is the way to go. You get an SD reader in any old console, and it's just like the real deal, you know. You're not stuck in like the world of like state saves and, you know, save states and fucking, oh, I'm gonna start over at this exact point because I keep dying. It's like, fuck you, you gotta fucking deal with that. You know. But I definitely like the old hardware for sure.